I think Mr. Akhilesh is daydreaming, and that's fine. He can daydream because he, anyways, does not have much work to do. His claims of winning 400 seats is simply laughable because all the surveys, all the indication on the ground, and all the feedback from the ground tells us that BJP is coming back to power with full majority once again.
Namaste everybody. Welcome to Chitti Media. My name is Sharan Sethi. In 2022, we have a very important election coming up in Uttar Pradesh. The state is going for an assembly election, and that election is going to be very critical for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, because generally what happens is that the majority winner of the Uttar Pradesh assembly elections goes on to form the government in the Lok Sabha elections. To discuss that, we have with us a columnist from the Hindustan Times. He was recently appointed the National Vice President for BJP Yuva Morcha, Abhinav Prakash ji. Abhinav ji, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sharan, for inviting me. Thanks a lot.
Abhinav ji, the first thing I want to ask is, the BJP Yuva Morcha cadre is always on the ground, so you're extensively traveling, and we are still living through a pandemic. So how are you doing, Abhinav ji?
Well, you are right that Yuva Morcha of the BJP is always on the ground. We are the frontline cadre of the BJP. And recently, we have started the celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which will continue for 1 year. So we organize 75 yatras, 75-kilometer Sankalp Yatra, Yuva Sankalp Yatra in all the states of India. So yeah, we have been traveling to different states, and our office bearers on the ground and our Karyakartas on the ground have been putting their best effort. And this celebration will continue for 1 year. So we'll have a lot more activities which have been planned for the coming months as well.
Right. That sounds very interesting. And we do look forward to all your activities, sir. So very good luck with that. Now, with your permission, if I may proceed on to my first question. Akhilesh Yadav actually believes that his party is going to win 400 seats in the upcoming elections. And especially, he has a confidence because he believes that the Yogi Adityanath government did not handle the second wave properly, because there was a mismanagement in the way how Uttar Pradesh sort of handled the pandemic, especially during the second wave. How much do you think his statements are valid according to you?
Well, I think Mr. Akhilesh is daydreaming, and that's fine. He can daydream because he anyways does not have much work to do. His claims of winning 400 seats is simply laughable because all the surveys, all the indication on the ground, and all the feedback from the ground tells us that BJP is coming back to power with full majority once again. His criticism of the government on the second wave, over the second wave of the pandemic, is also misplaced. Because if anything, the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and his government has handled the second wave in a decisive manner. Initial days were tough because we know that the second wave hit us all of a sudden. But within a week, the situation was under control. The supplies were streamlined. And the Chief Minister himself has been traveling to every district to look after their preparation and also to take feedback from the people. When it comes to the vaccination, Sharan, the UP is leading the country in the terms of number of vaccinations which are being administered every day. The UP has a huge population, more than 220 million people, right, which is almost as large or maybe even larger than Pakistan's population. Right. So of course, when we talk about the per capita numbers, they might be lower than the smaller states, but in terms of absolute number, the UP is doing absolutely fine. There is no major resentment against the government over the second wave of the pandemic. Yes, people have lost their life, and that is very unfortunate. Even the people who are ministers, who have been ministers in the BJP government, legislatures, their family members have also suffered. So it was a universal suffering. It's very uncalled for Akhilesh Yadav to politicize such a once-in-a-century pandemic, which has caused so much of distress to lots of people. But the management of the government was very prompt, it was very decisive, and results are to be seen on the ground. There are hardly any major hotspots of the coronavirus in UP as of now, and situation is limping back to normal.
Right. That's very interesting, Abhinavji. Especially when you look at how the parliamentary proceedings went in the monsoon session, there were a lot of disruptions, especially on the side of the opposition. But if there was one particular subject where the opposition was almost united, it was when the 127th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, which allows the state to sort of describe their own OBC categories. It gives them that kind of a power. Now, a lot of experts say that this will have a huge impact on the UP elections. Was this done in mind keeping the UP elections, and how do you think, as a political analyst, is going to impact the elections?
Well, everything is not done keeping in mind the elections. Let's be very clear. There are certain issues which have the broad spectrum support, and there are certain issues which must be done irrespective of the electoral calculations. And this amendment was part of it. The OBC category or the other backward classes, is very localized. It's very difficult for the central government to, do this kind of exercise of inclusion and exclusion in different states. So it's better to leave the judgment on the respective states itself, because you have certain castes which are under OBC in one state, they're not under OBC in another state. They're OBC in only, they fall under OBC in only certain parts of the states and so on. So the state governments are best suited to take this kind of decision and make this kind of calculations and judgments rather than the central government. So this was the thinking behind passing this amendment. And this also shows the commitment of the Modi government to the federal structure and the federal polity of India to have more empowered local units which can take decisions democratically.
Right. Thank you for that answer, Abhinavji. Now, if I may move on to something very interesting that is happening within the politics of Uttar Pradesh, it is that the Samajwadi Party and the BSP, they began their pre-poll preparations with Brahmin conferences. They're targeting votes outside their normal vote bank that they generally aim for. And how do you think this will disrupt? Because we are seeing perhaps for the first time these kind of developments happening in Uttar Pradesh.
Well, this only shows the lack of imagination from the opposition side. They have failed to understand the changes in the polity, and especially in the UP, where people have been voting above the concerns of caste and community for a very long time. We have seen that repeatedly in elections after elections, that the government are voted to power by the votes which cut across the caste lines. Of course, certain communities may vote for a certain party to a larger extent, but that's about it. But the opposition is simply stuck. It does not understand how to counter this new voting phenomena, which is based on Hindutva, which is a Hindu vote bloc, which basically no longer believes in the divisions of caste as such. So the only answer to it is to try to divide the Hindu votes on the caste lines, and also to mobilize and whip the religious fanaticism among the minority community. But I think they will fail once again, because no one wants to vote and go back to the days of secular Samajwad in this country. People are very happy with the development works which have been done by the full majority government under the Prime Minister, under the Chief Minister Yogi and the Prime Minister Modi. And in UP, lots of things have been done. If you look at the medical colleges, many new medical colleges have been opened. One of the least talked about achievement of Yogi government has been to revitalize the different hospitals to control the pandemics, and also the diseases like Japanese encephalitis in Gorakhpur. When we come to the highway construction, UP is one of the leading states now. Road construction, one of the leading states now. Right. Ujjwala Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, UP is one of the leading states now. Look at the government jobs. The entire process has been reformed, unlike the previous governments where people would good exam and results will not come for years, and then there will be lots of scams and court cases and so on. The Yogi government has taken lots of pain to streamline and reform the recruitment process, and more than 400,000 government jobs have been given in the last 4 years, and I think number is only going to increase in the future. So why would people, let's say in this case, why would Brahmins or any other caste will go for some symbolic gesture by the Samajwadi Party or the Bahujan Samaj Party? I think they will be defeated once again, and people will elect Chief Minister Modi as with the full majority government in this election too.
Right. Those are some very interesting points that you've introduced right now. But I think one thing that will stand out and perhaps will become a Twitter trend is your phraseology of secular Samajwad. So I don't know if you've introduced it right now or if it already exists, but it's very interesting.
No, we are seeing secular Samajwad after the Taliban victory. We are all seeing on social media how the secularists are streamlining and mainstreaming Taliban and saying that, well, Taliban is better than the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. So I think that sums up what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, they can at least conduct a press conference, right?
Maybe perhaps use the correct pronouns as well. Who knows? They have good training, it seems.
But moving on to my next question, from everybody, every political analyst and cephalogist in this country, and I think even the BJP sort of believes this fact that the construction of Bhavya Shri Ram Mandir is going to be a trump card for the BJP for the UP elections. How much do you think this will actually impact, and what are the chances that Yogi ji will be contesting from Ayodhya?
Well, on that, I have no answer because that's a decision of the party and its organization. So we can't really speculate on that. But when it comes to Ram Mandir, and this has been the stated stand of the BJP for years and years now, that the Ram Mandir issue is not about electoral politics. It's about national priorities, about national consciousness. It's also about reclaiming the essence of India. So I don't think the BJP looks at Ram Mandir construction, reconstruction to be very exact, as an electoral issue. Right. But yes, the construction of Ram Mandir is a great achievement, and it's only fitting that it comes under the Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Yogi. So that's a statement that this is a new India, which is no longer shy about reclaiming its heritage, reclaiming its past, and has overgrown the cynical politics of the secular Samajwad, as I pointed out. So Ram Mandir construction will basically be, it's a historic moment because it's after 500 years of Hindu struggle. One of the most sacred sites has been liberated and is being rebuilt. So I don't think we have to look at it with the narrow prism of the electoral politics. We could look at it from the prism of the civilizational journey of India. So in that sense, it's a great moment.
Right. That's very interesting, Abhinavji. That brings me to my last question. Many of the BJP insiders are also slightly uncomfortable with this, forgive me. Your party is aiming for the minority votes this time, and they're actually aiming to win unwinnable seats like Azamgarh, Akbarpur, and Rampur, just to take a few names. What brings this change to the BJP strategy?
No, there's no change. The BJP has always believed in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. So BJP does not treat any community in India as outside the ambit of its voter base. If you look at the schemes of the Prime Minister Modi, all the schemes have been delivered on a very objective criteria. And many of the schemes, the minority community, especially the Muslim community, has been the single largest beneficiary. So there's no change in the strategy as such. The only thing is that the BJP is now countering the propaganda against the BJP among these communities in a much more assertive manner. So the BJP is very sure that it will win these so-called minority-dominated seats as well, because remember, when you talk about the Muslim community, they are Pasmanda communities. They are the lots of communities who have been ill-treated in the secular politics, because secular politics is only meant patronizing a certain class of Muslims and a certain class of narrative, which is Islamist narrative, not the indigenous narrative of the Pasmanda communities of this country. So I'm pretty hopeful that the BJP will be able to win their trust, their support, because they have benefited a lot from the schemes of the BJP government, and they've seen the BJP government works for everyone, every Indian, irrespective of the religion or caste or community.
Right. Thank you so much for those points, Abhinavji. Abhinavji says that the issue of Ram Mandir is not to be politicized, but it's more of a national consciousness, and that his party is very confident of winning back a huge majority in the upcoming Uttar Pradesh elections. Abhinavji will, of course, be calling you for more and more such insightful analysis and discussions. I'm really glad you could join us. Thank you so much. And to all our viewers who are watching this, please do subscribe to our content. We'll be regularly updating on a whole lot of issues in a format like this. The show that we are doing on current affairs will have similar such formats in the future as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.